Because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, folks, there are a couple things going on here. This was the cattle this morning. We mentioned this in the newsletter. And then also, oh, golly, hold on. I'm going to sneeze again. And there it opened, you see, tick higher than the high on Friday, and it broke 5 cents, which is well over $2,200 in cattle. You see it hit the 786 here. You see this real wide bar like this? This was John Hill's favorite, called the yum-yum trade. In other words, as you're coming straight down like this, as soon as you retrace more than 80% of the big down bar, that tells you you're probably going to rally. So that would have been a place where I would say either cover at the 618 or the 786, and so you would have made a pretty nice return on that. And all you can see is we've done so far this morning is just right up to the exact 61% retracement, following along with Fibonacci numbers. So that cattle market is pretty much done. I've been asked to take a look at that wheat that we made. We did very well in the wheat. If the July wheat, let's bring it up here in the one for December, which we were in. And you remember I was recommending today to buy it at 73. It's below that right now, but the stop has to be below here because this is I thought it was going to be right in here. It didn't work, so it went down against us. Now, when I came on, we were doing the July wheat, and that we bought that at 29, and it's actually trading at 29 right now. So just keep in mind, you get your stop working. That's all you can do. But we bought this way down here at 48, and we sold it right up here. So that was a real nice move of $1,200, and now we're out about $200 on the one that we're in right now. We've also been very, very bearish the gold market, and as you can see, it has made a pretty significant top up here at 33.65, which was a 1-3-5 pattern. Paula Webb will be our guest at the break. Thank God. Hope she'll talk longer than I can. Anyway, that's what we're paying attention to here as we look at some of these things here this morning. People have asked me by email and by calling have I ever seen a market like this in stocks? Folks, this is what it did for 15. It's been doing this for 15 years. It's been going up. Sure, we caught some on the downside, but, it's having a big break. It's very difficult for someone to be short when they change, they say they're going to do something. That's nothing to do with the president or anything like that. But, when the bullish things change, either bullish or bearish, people react to that. Whether it's a tariff that's any good or a tariff that's not any good. But tariffs are not good. Tariffs is what brought the stock market to its knees back in 1929, was the tariffs that they brought in. It stops business, and business is not good when there's no business, okay? Man, folks, I'm drowning here. Okay, let's move over here to a couple others that we want to be watching. There's a potential trade set up here, folks. I like to do these, but this is the 8-minute. We're looking at the Treasury bonds because we had a pretty good bounce. Now we're going to look at the hourly chart on this because we got a really nice pattern up here at the ABCD level. There it is right there. We're not very far away. We just hit 113, so we need to get 113.13 will be an ABCD. Now, if you go back and look, this is going to be the first major ABCD that we had since the end of May. Or end of April. See that? That's going to be your first one. Look where it's stopping. There's your 382 right here off of that high that we made right here. Now, if you think this is a bull market, then you better not sell this one. But if you think it's a bear market like I do, it's going to be a pretty good chance to sell it short there at that ABCD, which is a pretty good correction here because we've come back 3 full handles after dropping, 126 to 110. We dropped 16 handles and we rallied back 3. So that's not a very good sign from a bullish standpoint. So this is a rally in a bear market, in my opinion. And people are thinking that this is a change in bonds that everybody's been waiting for. I don't believe that's right, but we'll see. But today's action, as you can see here, there was a high that we made early this morning. If you believe those 382s, I believe you're spot on right there. I'll show you. There it is right there. Stopped exactly at 382, telling you that it wasn't done yet, and it's rallied already, $600 off of that. So that's why you got to watch these strong trending markets, because they give you a pretty good chance to get in when you're following real closely. We've got gold down $80 today, which is a good thing if you're short, and that's and sometimes you're not short or long, but that's what it's doing. This is what I report in the newsletter, whether we're right or wrong, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. Now, I also want to bring to your attention the U.S. dollar. This is, to me, one of the more important ones that we're watching. Now, this is the euro. Now, this is the daily euro. You can see we made the 61% retracement earlier today. We hit it 1, 2, and then today, you see, it was just a little bit higher. That was because the dollar index, and we'll bring this up here to show you. This is a repeat of what we were looking at earlier, but it's important to repeat. Repetition is the mother of knowledge, and the institution of invention, or something like that. I don't remember what the exact quote was. Okay, now let me get the, you're going to see here, I've got to do this on the daily because you won't be able to see how close it came to the exact number. There's where we were. There was your 786. Now, remember now, the euro is making a 618, and this is making a 786. This is telling you one or two things, that the U.S. dollar index is not being influenced so much by the euro as it usually does, because it's usually 53%. That's because the British pound has been strong. That's because the Australian dollar has been strong. That's because the Japanese yen, the dollar versus the yen, has been strong today. And that's why you see that big divergence right here. So when you trade him, you got to trade them separately, but the numbers are good no matter how you look at it. Look how close you came here at the exact 382. That's down 1.5 handles from where we are right now, folks. That's $1,500. Hold on a second. Sorry for the draining. You can see we had a pretty big break. There was you can see here on the Sunday night break. Look, I mean, how hard do you have to be on this one? Look, there's AB equals CD. What's so difficult about that? Look where we are, right now. So this is kind of thing that we're trying to show you here, how the ABCD patterns work in conjunction with other things like Fibonacci and other things like that. So 1 second, folks, I need to get some water here. I actually feel great, except that I can't breathe and I have a raspy throat, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. Hold on here. Let's take a look here at a couple things that people have asked me about. And one of them was Tesla. I showed the chat on Tesla. I burned the bridge on this one. Hold on 1 second. In other words, I probably have a few people that'll never listen to me again. But this morning on Tesla, I was saying that let's get the daily up, because that's what we were looking at. We were setting at that exact number right here at the 50% level, and look, this is where it opened, and I said, well, I'd probably be a seller here and risk 9 points, and you can see I would have been stopped out on this. But like I told the people, I don't stop trade stocks. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I did two things wrong. I'll discuss those when we get back.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Okay, folks, I'm going to go through the opening price principle here just to show you the thing I did wrong here in the Tesla. I mean, playing off the cuff and I trade the numbers, it's okay. But to lose 9 points on this was ridiculous because you see it opened sharply higher, way above the open. Now, the opening price is usually the high or low of the day about 80% of the time. Well, you think I'm nuts? Well, let's just go through this. This is Tesla here over the past few times. Okay, look at this. You see right here, it opened right near the high. Here it opened right near the low, that little hash mark, right? It opened right on the low. Here it opened in between. Here it opened on the high. Here it opened on the high. Here it opened on the low, in between, on the low, in between, on the high, in between, on the low, on the low, on the high, on the low, on the high, on the low, on the high, on the low, on the low, on the low, on the low, on the high. Folks, you do 100 of these, you're going to realize that 80% of the time, the markets are going to close near the high, the low, or the high or the low about 80% of the time. How does that help? Don't trade, don't fade the opening price. If you're above the opening price, for God's sakes, don't go short. And I'm not thinking that way because I'm not excusing my condition, my breathing or anything, but that should have been really a no-brainer. And no way would I have ever risked 9 points on something like that. 9 points is 3%, and that's ridiculous, but that's what happened. We looked at this on a really short-term basis. Just go to a 13-minute chart. This ought to have told you something right now. I mean, I didn't look at it that closely, but that was insane to sell that. I mean, that's just, here's where the sell was, right here. And the stop should have been maybe 3 or 4 points, but nothing like that. Make mistakes like that all the time, but I don't trade stocks, folks. That's why I don't trade stocks. Anyway, I trade futures and Forex. That's what my little shtick is, and that's what I'm going to be sticking with it. Okay, now, wow. we've got a really, really, really strong market over here in the NASDAQ, folks. Let's take a quick look at this here. It's still smoking right up, and we'll look at this on the daily here. Everybody wants to buy the NASDAQ today, as they should. It's only up about 400 or 500 points. Now let's take a look here at the longer-term daily, and you can see we are breaking above the old highs. There was the back here when we had the big recovery highs, if you remember, and then came down, and there's where we are right now. Let's look at this on the daily so we can see it really clearly, because the highs are right back here. Okay, there's our high right back here. So we are trading above the 78% again. We're not above the highs of last week, but we're a heartbeat away. Now, we had a pullback here on the day before the holiday, which is usually, if it's up, it's going to be an up day, but it was down. That means the odds are it was going to be a down day. But news came out on the tariff, changed everything. All it did last night was come down and stopped almost exactly at the 382, and then it's been running ever since to the upside, and it doesn't look like it's going to be stopping very soon. We're seeing the same thing in the Dow Jones and also in the S&P. And as I mentioned, if that S&P closes above 3940, that is going to be a signal that, yep, whatever it's going to be going is going to be going higher. So you don't want to stand in front of that. Okay, so that's part of the reason why we do these things, is to say when we're right and when we're wrong. Now, if you happen to be in this, the wheat that we recommended to be, you can see it's only going to be open for another hour or so, and you're basically you're out a half a penny from where you are right now. So what I would, which is $25, I would just raise my stop to 26. That way, the most you would lose. Let me put that in here right now. Move the stop to 526. And then the only thing you would lose would be $150 on that. If you'd done the cattle trade, that would have made many, many times more than that, but sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Okay, and also I do like that trade in the Treasury bonds very, very much, folks, because that's a big ABCD, and in a really bear market. And believe me, if this was really a bullish bottom in the bonds, we'd be up a lot more than just in 4 trading days. We'd be a lot more than 3 handles higher from 109 to 112. It would be up around 115, 116 if it were really a really super strong bottom. And I don't think that is what we're looking at right here. Another one that was working really nicely today was, if you followed the old ABCD format, we had one of these that we mentioned in the video. We had a really nice ABCD pattern right here, and then of course it started down, and you can see the ABCDs all the way down as we went through here. But right now, on a longer term basis, you know, we've got a chance here for some type of a pretty good bottom here in the crude oil. If we look at this on the daily, which we've been doing, you can see we can get it, if we can get this thing, well, it did get above that. This was talking way back here, was that bullish above 59.75. We did get up to 6,400, and now what we're looking at is we've come down 1, 2, 3, 4 days. We had a rally here this morning. That was the one we just pointed out to you, and we'll bring this up. I think that was the 50% retracement. Let's get it up here, and I think that's where we were. There it is today. It was a little bit more than 50%. I think it came in just about at 786. There's your ABCD, and there it is right there. Well, a little above 61% retracement, and now we're starting to sell off. And just recently, I think we just made a 382 off of the high right here. And we certainly did just a second ago here at this level right here. All right, now I had a question about soybeans. So let me get back here, because, you know, we've been very bullish, the meal, and I haven't even checked the meal today, folks, but let's check this November soybeans, because I think that's where the real money is hiding in the wood pile. There's 65. We'll get the daily up here. And we want to get this, once this gets above 70, folks, I think it's going to be a very, very bullish market. And you can see here, all we've done so far, look at even today, it's down just a little bit. All we've been able to do is make a 382 retracement here, and then another 382 retracement here, and we're still hanging in here. We're in the midst of the growing season now, folks. Any hot weather at all, and this thing gets above 1070, you're looking at some prices that are going to probably go at least $10,000, $2 or $3 a bushel. potential much higher, because the one thing that soybean cannot do, it cannot survive well with hot, dry weather. Got hot, wet weather, it does really good, but hot, dry weather, it does horribly. And we haven't had a bad crop in a very, very long time. So I want you to watch that, because I'm watching it for us. And I wanted to show you the soybean oil chart, because that's the one that looks like it could really be a monster. This is the daily soybean oil. We're waiting for it to back off a little bit, and boy, it doesn't want to at all. And I think it's a worldwide shortage of cooking oil and everything else. But you can see there's the 382 on this whole move. If we get down here, which is down 2 cents, if you get soybean oil down here, new crop soybean at that level, that's going to be very bullish, folks. It really is. Here's a perfect example. From that low to that high, you're going to see the pullback was 382, and you watch those strong trending markets, and boy, they'll get you aboard. And I really like this one. If we can get down this little bit lower, right now we're not there, but we could get there. Let's stay tuned. We got PT Webb coming up.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey. Because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors. This portion of Trade What You See is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Okay, folks, we have Paula Webb in the house today. PT, how are you doing today?
Woo, I'm doing good. How about you,
Good.
Larry? Did you have a nice holiday weekend?
Yeah, the old Palo Verde out in front of the house is shedding like a third day of July, and boy, it's really getting to me today. I've nothing I can do about it. It only lasts about a day or two, but I lived in the Midwest all those years and never had any trouble with allergies. I lived in 3 different parts of California, and I come over here. We're supposed to be the allergy capital of the world, where people come to get away from it, and boy, they don't like me here. But that's only for a month. Hold on, PT, I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Sorry about that, boys and girls. Tell the folks what we're looking at today, Paula. What can you tell us today?
Well, I'm just, going to say thank you. I want to thanks to you, Larry, for having me on the show, because I guess people do actually listen to what I say on your show. So thank you for that. And second of all, one of the biggest questions I get from your listeners, Larry, is what to do with their journals that they keep about their trading journey. And one of my students this week said, there's things in my journal that I don't necessarily like about myself. And I said, well, that's the whole point of writing it down, so it gets out of your brain, and then you can de-energize it. Because if you have things about yourself that you're not comfortable with, then you need to take a look at those and just say, like if you have a fear of loss, you just have to kind of look at that and say, why am I afraid of losing when I know that I may always have losing trades even though I do everything right? Because that's just market movement. So whatever you decide to do with your journals, and this is something that Mark and I have taught over the years, is if you really feel that you have accomplished de-energizing, deflating any limiting beliefs or thoughts, then you can burn those journals, because that part of your self-reflected journey is over. And you have grown in your self-knowledge about yourself and your ability to see true opportunities in the markets more clearly and more effectively to take more profits. Now, if you haven't resolved your fear of loss, then call me for a coaching session and we'll work it out together. So that's kind of what's kind of been going on with a lot of traders lately. Their journal work, how to do it. When do I know that I've cleaned out my brain to be more effective as a trader? And but it is still person specific. So, but as you know, Larry, Mark was a copious writer in his journals every day. And I have a storage locker full of his journals, which I may publish someday, with certain parts redacted, of course, about me, because I'm perfect. But anyway, so for those of you out there wondering about journal work, it does work. It does help. It helps you streamline your goals and your objectives, and it helps you create a strategy for always being able to take as much profit as comes available to you.
Saying was trading is a journey, not a destination. Yes. And it is.
Exactly.
I've been doing it for 62 years, and I'm still on the journey. So I have good days, bad days, and sometimes you think you're right on something. Fact is, just about every trade that I think is the best trade I've ever seen doesn't work. It's all the others that pay for the bills, but the ones that I like the best don't seem to work out sometimes. But it's a probability game that we all know. And Mark did write so very much, and he had someone right behind him correcting him, and you did a great job all those years.
Yes, he did.
Folks, people don't realize. Oh,
go ahead.
Well, for every line that you see in Mark's books and also in Paula's books, there's 10 lines that came to that one line. I watched him change a sentence 10 times in one day because it wasn't exactly the way he wanted to say it. Move a verb and move an adverb and a participle and all this other stuff. Things that we never learned.
And don't forget about the commas. Moving the commas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Really
drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he was a great guy. But the other thing I want to mention to everybody out there real quickly is for those of you who are crypto traders, please keep your profits and your success to yourself. We're seeing more and more bad things happen to crypto traders who are bragging on the internet or social media that they've got a lot of money in their crypto account. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you be physically hijacked. Your account will be hijacked. So please be careful. Okay, I've had 3 people I know that have been hijacked because they were bragging about, their success, and the money's gone. They'll never get it back.
Yeah,
so
that's the bad part about that. I had a session today with JP Parents and All Star Charts, and they asked me about Bitcoin, and I said, look, I'm scared to death of that stuff. I said, all you have to do is click a switch, and all your money's gone. And they said, well, that can't happen. I said, it happens all the time. I said, they can shut the whole things down. Nobody knows enough about these blockchains or, all the mystery behind it and stuff. And, and I said, I'm an old man that's, basically just scared to death of that stuff. And that's why I've never touched it. And I don't need it, and I'm not going to. So that's what I tried to explain to them. But, that does scare me. And I know people have made fortunes at it. I mean, real big fortunes, but it hasn't been for me.
Yeah,
that's okay. I get by with cattle and hogs and bellies and stuff. Or no bellies anymore, but stick with soybeans and wheat. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you make your profit, like we said, take it out and put it in a real bank, because all of these crypto organizations are offshore, and they're not regulated by our government. So please be careful, guys. We want you to be successful and safe.
Yeah. People don't realize this, but back in the 17th century, when Isaac Newton was doing speculation, he was really heavily involved with the South Sea Island bubble, and he made an absolute fortune in the first 40% of the move. And then after the market kept going higher and higher, he kept buying, and he got caught in the downswing and lost everything. He died a pauper. Well, he wasn't a pauper because people were paying all his bills and stuff, and his works were valuable much after he died. But that's pretty much a thing. How's your internet doing over there, by the way? You're having a lot of trouble. It's been in the news over here that they've had trouble out there in the valley.
Yes. Yeah, it's just awful. I think a lot of it is a couple blocks away. They're putting in this huge Disney theme park complex with multi-million-dollar homes and multiple beaches and all this kind of stuff. And I think it's just because they're concentrating on putting that all together for the extremely wealthy. It's disrupting our internet over here.
Wow.
Because they got to rewire and put in new cables and all this. So they're actually taking away, I think, a lot of the signal. So I'm still on a dial-up, basically.
Oh my goodness, that's
it's
really
awful.
good.
I mean, 5 minutes to load an Amazon page. So that's why you don't get to see my pretty face today. But maybe next show. But
hey, listen, we'll have you on next Tuesday, okay? And we want to know more about your books that's coming out. That's very important.
Sounds good.
Okay, folks, we'll take a break and we'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direction. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direction.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Okay, folks, this section is for new traders. If you want to learn how to trade, pick the euro. This is the euro at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Now, this is not Forex. This is an actual contract. For every buyer, there must be a seller. When you're doing business with a Forex bank, they're taking 99% of those trades themselves because they know most people lose at this stuff. So it's easy for them to make money. They have accounts that they do not, if someone gives them an order, they'll take the order, but they'll lay it off at another bank because that person knows what they're doing. They don't like to fade that. But you can see there's your ABCD there's the one, from last Thursday. There's Friday. Here where you come in today, make a perfect ABCD, risking very little, maybe 30 pips, which is roughly $300. It would already made 1,000, as you can see, from that high to that's 100 pips, and that's a little over $1,200. So that's what you want to do, and it happens all the time. You can see you just did ABCDs, all three, up and down. There's your ABCD to the upside, and you have ABCDs to the downside. So you can trade that euro all the time. And here's another one that we've got going right now. You can see from the high that we made back here, we had the move come down. There's your first ABCD pattern right here. Then you have the rally back up, which was probably right at 382. Nope, it's 50%. No, there's 382 right there. And now it's broken there from 85 down there. That's 40 pips. So you're risking, 20 pips to make 40. That's not bad. And this is telling us that we're most probably going to be completing this one here sometime later today, which should be very interesting to come right down to this level right here, which is really close to the 1.618 expansion of the whole thing. And that's really what you're trying to do. Keep it as absolutely simple as possible, and you'll have a better feeling for what it is. I like the euro as a move. Also, the British pound is very good. The Canadian dollar is good. So is the Australian dollar. So find one that you like. Look for the little ABCD patterns because they're everywhere. Doesn't make any difference what you're trading. You can find them, just about everywhere. If you're watching a 60-minute chart, you're going to get one at least every couple days. There's another one you see right up there like that, and that one leads to that one, and so forth and so on, and just keep doing it that way, and should be able to beat them once in a while. I can't beat them all the time, but you'll beat them most of the time. This is all covered in my book, Trading in the Zone. Oh, wait, that's the wrong book. That's Mark's book. Mine is Trade What You See. He wrote that book here in my house. We had so much fun doing that. From 1996 to 2004. He was here 8 years, and that was that was really a great time that we had a time together. And then he moved up to the big shopping center there in Scottsdale, the shopping mall. So I mean, that's because PT loved that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's move on here and see where the market is still going higher. We're making new highs now in the S&P. I can see now we're at 59.30, ready to bust through the 78% level at 59.40, and then the market will probably continue to go up. As you can see, the NASDAQ is very, very close to taking out the old highs of all last week. That number is well, it's 180 pips away, but you can see with the strength of this right here, we're most probably going to take it out. This ABCD move here didn't give you anything. You were down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and all you did was make a little 382 off of this one. So market's bullish, can't fight it. So you stand aside and try to find something in soybeans or wheat that suits your fancy, and then you'll be better off. That's the way I think I look at it, because I certainly got that one wrong. We got the gold wrong. We got the gold right. We got the bonds right. We got the currencies right. Got the cattle right. But it didn't do very well in the stock. We're not short this, folks, because I said that you have to wait until you get through this weekend, because we had an absolute beautiful sell signal. If you'll remember, look at this. This is look at the 382, folks. From the high low we made back here. This was the Sunday night, the low on Friday. From that low on Friday, this morning's low was exactly 382. There's the number right there. There's the 382 off of that low right there. And that told you that this market didn't want to go down. And look how quickly it went above it, you see? As soon as you went above the 382 on this, that told you that, and with these wide bars, it said it was going to go higher. And look where we are. We're banging against the 1.27. And that's also, looking at this on the daily, it's spot on at the 786 there at 59.38. And the high today has been 59.32. So we're probably going to get that. And we're going to find out what it does from that level. But there's no reason for anybody to be selling on the day after a holiday. That usually is an up day if the market was up on Friday, but it was down on Friday. That means the probability of an up move today was less than 15%. And you can see they turned that around with that big gap up on Sunday night saying, hey, I want to go higher. And that's in fact what it's been doing all this time. So there's a lot of markets out there. Pick one that you like. Stick with the old ABCD, and it'll get you to the promised land. If you do things right and use stops so that you can get out of the way in case it goes haywire. And sometimes they do, and that's when you least expect it. So that's the main thing. Just like in this Tesla today, if I'd have been looking at any common sense at all, there's no way I would have been selling at that number here on the daily, which was right here. Okay, after a big gap up like this. That was insane. And yet I didn't give it enough thought because, I'm looking for a trade for somebody. And not only that, but I said, well, you got to risk about 3%, which is $9, which is ridiculous. Not on something like that with a big gap up way above the opening price. Forget it. That's it. They don't always work, but I'll tell you, if you watch that opening price, and it's good if you're trading stocks or anything else, no matter what you are, if you're selling something and you're above the opening price, the odds of you winning are less than 20%. Just look at this. Just in the S&P, there's no sense selling up in here if your odds of winning are less than 20%, and that's what it is right now. Yeah, once in a while you're going to catch a falling safe, but why try when you don't have to have that odds in your favor? And that's what I don't like about candlesticks. They don't show you that opening price clearly, because these things open on the low a lot of times and open on the high, and that's very important. Today they opened right on the low. That was the overnight low that we had. So I hope that gives you some idea of what we're watching here. By the way, if you want to reach Paula Webb, just go to paulawebb.com, I believe, or easy, simple, tradinginthezone.com. We'll get you to her. She's got a lot of free things to help traders, and they're very, very helpful. I've used them all, been tested with most of them. So it's good about the mantras that you have to do and come in with a positive expectation, and don't trade on certain days, that you have things going on in your family or whatever, or not feeling well, then that's the kind of thing that you don't want to trade during those times. So those are just common sense things that we forget unless you keep a journal, and the journal will keep you on your path because you'll check it every day. It doesn't have to be a long thing, like 200-300 words, just a few words each day, like, I'm not feeling too good today, my kid's giving me trouble, or I kicked my cat and it kicked back, that kind of thing. But that's what you want to do. You want to be focused on what you need to do, and if you do that the right way, you're going to be okay in the long run. That's the way it is. Let's take a little break. 877-927-6648.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, someone asked if they could see my journal. Well, there it is. You can see it's quite thick. I do one of these each year. And it's not long. I take like 2 or 3 sentences what I did right. Today's sentence was not feeling too good because of the allergies and stuff, but I still have to continue to implement the trades. And so I've done that. I've had a couple of nice winners and had a couple of small losers. And that's really what I'm looking at as I'm doing these things unfolding here each day. So that's what I do all the time. I was trained by Mark Douglas to do that, and I Do it every day. It doesn't take very long. It takes about 2 minutes, but it's very important to stay focused on what you need to do, so, and that's just like any business, folks. When I come in here each day, I'm looking to either buy corn or beans or wheat, or sell something like cattle or something else. And I'm a merchant, and I'm using my product to either buy or sell. Sometimes I have a surplus, sometimes I have a shortage, and that's all I'm trying to do, is to line those up to gain some money. Because when I started doing this a long time ago, I knew that ABCD worked. The thing is, it doesn't work all the time. This is a daily. You get down on a smaller time frame, you're going to see ABCDs through here, and that's exactly what we're looking at when we're watching these. You can see here, there's your ABCD measured right to there. From there, it came right down to a 382 off of that number right there, okay? And that's why when you came in today, if this thing wasn't bearish, the 382 would have been a little bit below that, but didn't even hit the 50%, but it hit the 382 off of this number right here. So that's what you're watching. So we're almost there. There's your number. We're at 33, making new highs. So we're going to be there very, very shortly. We're going to pop through that 59.40. That's that 786 on the long-term daily. And if it does that, folks, there's no holding it back. It can go almost anywhere that it goes. There it is right there, 59.38. We're at 59.33 right now. And with the Dow up 700 points almost. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless, and we'll see you on the flip side tomorrow.
Steve